Please put your hands together. We have with us Sidesh Kirkar, who's the head for digital marketing from CoverFox. Just to give you an introduction, ladies and gentlemen, CoverFox, by the way, has just raised about $22 million in CDC funding. Also, there are more than 1,200 employees right now, and they just began the company in 2013. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for what kind of amazing growth that this company has seen. Also, along with him, we have with us the Group Vice President of Products within Oracle's Marketing Cloud Division. You have the opportunity to attend his keynote session in the morning with 24 patents, and I'm sure you all heard his introduction in the morning. Please put your hands together for Kaushal Kurapati, who is the Group Vice President of Products within Oracle's Marketing and Cloud Division. All right, so can we have both of you on stage, please? Thank you so much. We have the mics, please. Thank you. All right, so this is going to be an interactive Q&A format, and I'll hand it over to both of you. Also, just ladies and gentlemen, towards the end of the session, of course, we have tea and coffee arranged for all of you. That's the time that you can take to have conversations with our speakers and one another. Also, if you do go outside to the registration desk, we have feedback forms for all of you. Please do submit your feedback forms and collect a beautiful memento from the registration desk. So over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks, Sidesh, for being here. So what we'll do is we'll try to get some experience from CoverFox in their journey in the Martech space and what automation means. Why is data important from an audience data perspective, and what should one look for when you're really embarking on a journey of Martech stack, you're trying to implement, getting on this journey, and what should one look for, and what are some of the challenges, pitfalls that you might have overcome and you might have seen with respect to customers. We'd like to get that perspective. Then we'll share some perspective from an Oracle standpoint as to how we see in capabilities helping customers in implementing these strategies.
Hello everyone, my name is Sidesh. At CoverFox, it's very difficult to say whether it's a tech company doing marketing or a marketing company doing tech. Both the teams are so tightly integrated with each other that whenever you want to do something, it's very easier, and that's very important. Whenever I talk about or think about marketing tech or marketing automation, first thing which comes to my mind is, hey, marketing team is ready to do everything, but is the tech team again supporting us? Now, since this problem has been already solved, the only thing which was in front of me was now what to do. So in 2013 when we started, at that point in time, it was very, very blank. In a 2 BHK with 10 people around, trying to do some things, trying to think of what will happen a couple of years down the line. But one thing was very clear, that we want to make this CoverFox a great place for insurance. And that's what we just started. We just started to think, we just started to build use cases as to what is that we want to do. And that is what I think everybody should start with. The first time when my CEO came to me and asked me, Sidesh, we want to go ahead with some marketing automation tool. Can you please tell me which tool to go ahead with? And I was like, there are multiple tools available in the market. Now, which tool should I go ahead with? Should I go ahead with a tool which is already there in the market and it's a global tool with all the capabilities, or should I go with a tool which has just entered the market, trying to develop its own capabilities? Because as a startup, you always have one thing, that my journey is not set. I want somebody who can actually customize things for me. Now, that's when I started thinking, and that's what we did. We started building use cases. We said, okay, now I have a customer. Whom am I going to sell car insurance and bike insurance? Because these were the two products which we started at that point in time. But what about the same customer after we launch the other products. Now, how will I reach out to these custom the same customer again? I only have his phone number. Should I give him a call? Now, again, giving him a call means a cold calling kind of a thing. This is not going to help. So, what else do I have of the customer with me? And that one thing which came to me was, I have his cookie. And that's going to give me a lot of information as to what exactly he's going to do. And that's where the data comes into picture. We started to think that if tomorrow I have to give personalized experience to this user, what can I do? And at that point in time, we went to multiple companies, one of which was Vizuri. Vizuri, we pitched them our idea that if tomorrow I want to give a personalized experience to a user, can I show him or can I take him back to the same point from where he left from the website? And from that time, we started building it that, hey, there's a user who came on my website who bought from me, and there's a user who didn't buy from me. But potentially that same user is going to come back again next year, and he's going to buy from me. Now there are two things. One is this user at this point in time, I want to reach him back, bring him back to the website and convert, versus this same user next year, again for the renewals, I have to bring him back. So that's how we started building those small pieces together, and hence that's where we started things. So as I was saying, building use cases, the customer journey, not every customer has the same kind of a journey. Some people might want to have a different customer experience versus some people might just want to come to the website and straight up go convert. In my case, it was a offline to online business. So how could I marry that offline to online kind of a business together is what I wanted to understand. After multiple discussions, we came to a point where we said, this particular user cookie, in the 6 months or 1 year down the line, can I use some kind of a data point to get the user plus nowadays you know that every marketing platform, the costs are always going up day by day. In that particular case, if I have to reach out to the right user, who is the right user? How will I identify that user? And how will I actually get to know that at what point in time I want to show to a user versus what exactly will be my right platform at that point in time. Again, one more problem was the insurance industry or a normal industry online is growing at a pace of 15-20% year on year, 30%. But being in a startup, the major problem was that I wanted to grow my company to 2x, 3x, 4x. Now what should I do at that point in time? If I don't have a right marketing strategy with me, right acquisition strategy with me, I would have failed. So we tried to first get things in place, which is the data. And data, my friends, it's very important. Apart from that, with respect to other BUs, like the tech or the design and other things, there one major problem was that people think differently. When you speak to a tech person, he thinks from a technical standpoint. He will never think from what is the business loss. So for us, it was very important that we first understand people that what exactly is important. So in CoverFox, the system is that the marketing team doesn't actually look at the landing page optimization. It's been totally taken care by the tech team. So the tech team understands that if tomorrow they don't deliver, what is the business loss which is going to happen. Most of the time it happens that somebody in the marketing team is managing the entire website, the UI experience, the total what is the traffic which is going to go on the site, how much of that is converting, how much of that is not converting. But in our case, what is good is the tech team, the tech lead of every business. We give him targets at the start of the month saying that, hey, this is what you want to do. If tomorrow I'm going to pump traffic to you, that traffic is going to cost this much. Now you tell me how much improvement can you bring. Roughly, if you ask me, on my website, right now there are more than a couple of million people coming on my site. Even a 1% increment in my conversion rates roughly brings me close to 25 to 30,000 additional leads, which if you have to convert it into a monetary kind of a thing, that is equivalent to somewhere close to 25 to 30 lakhs of a marketing spend. Now, how can I see to it that this 30 lakhs of additional spends which I'm saving for the company can be utilized in a better way? Now that's where tools like the Blue Sky of Oracle, it gives me an understanding of what exactly is the user searching for. What exactly is he doing in the market? When should I reach out to him? So we started thinking on that particular piece. On that particular front, we also came to know that out of the total number of leads which are generated in CoverFox, and since it's an offline kind of a business, the major problem is connectivity. Approximately 30 to 40% of my leads which I generate on a monthly basis, I'm not able to connect to the user. Now in that particular case, what should I do? What is the right time to reach out to that user? And that's where marketing orchestration comes into picture. When you exactly know that what is the right time to reach to the user, that will help you convert that user better. For example, we have a simple feature at CoverFox wherein if a user comes online, gives his lead and goes off, we give him a call. The first call goes, second call goes. If he doesn't pick up, then at the back end, through Lemnis, we have a setup wherein we know that when exactly that user is going to come back again. So we run a remarketing campaign to the user. Whenever that impression is there, so whenever we get an impression for that particular cookie, we exactly know that this user is live at this point in time, online, give him a call. What we have seen is if a customer is called when he is online, in front of a system, his conversion rates are better. Now these small things make a very big difference. Like when to call the user, what is that he's searching for. So we even get data at the levels wherein is he browsing about insurance or is he browsing about something else. These small points help us to understand that whether he is a good lead or not. And hence lead scoring is something which comes into picture. Now all these things put together, if I would have not done my proper use cases study, I would have never understood that which tool to go ahead with. Because you know that there are too many choices in the market. And if I go to a tool and I tell them, hey, I want to do marketing automation, he'll say, okay, I have these 10 different things. Now you tell me what you want to do. But we did it in a other way. We said, these are the 10 things which we want to do. Now you tell me what are the things available with you. And this is what we want to do 6 months down the line or 1 year down the line. Can you build this thing for us? So that is very important to understand what is going to happen. So when we say that we want to build a future-ready Martech, think about the future. What is that you're going to do in the future? Don't ever think that today I'm going to do this. This is what I want. And tomorrow, let's see what happens. Now, one more thing which is important is we also did one good thing. We never went ahead with one single kind of a tool. We always had our A/B tests ready. We always did tests with multiple tools. When I was saying that I wanted to show a personalized kind of message to a user, at that same point in time, I also went ahead with a normal static kind of a messaging to the user. We just saw that if at all we are showing a static banner to the user versus a personalized banner to the user, what is the difference we are making? In digital industry, we all know we are buying impressions. And when we are buying those impressions count. And that too, if you're buying an inventory which is on a CPM kind of a thing, at that point in time, every impression counts. So we checked those CTRs, we did those small exercises. And whenever we do a new kind of a marketing campaign, we make sure that we do a campaign which is on a smaller budget, but from a long-term standpoint. Every campaign which we do generally are planned from a 3-month standpoint. So what we generally do is if we are planning a campaign or if we have a budget for a month which is worth 5 lakh rupees, we would rather want to do 50,000 rupees worth of 10 campaigns and then see that what performs and what doesn't perform. Rather than doing a campaign which is worth 2 lakh for 1 month, we try to do 50,000 campaigns for the 3 months. I think that much budget is enough, because even if you calculate a CPC cost of a general kind of a platform, which is not search but native, you can easily get it at a 5 rupees or 10 rupees CPC. And then in that budget, 10,000 visits to your website are good enough to take a decision. One more problem which we were facing in the beginning was that just because we had limited resources, we were not able to give enough to the tool. So we tried to limit on our experiments, and we said that we want to have one owner for that one exercise, so that we know that at the end of the day, if anything happens, who's to go to, and if has he given enough to that particular tool. If we are investing somewhere close to 4 to 5 lakhs in a tool, it's better to have one person whom you can take only for that tool, because if the dedicated person is able to give that 100% to that tool, it will always work. But most of the cases it happens that that there is one person who is doing multiple things, and we take the tool, and at the end we are like, okay, we did that experiment, but it didn't work. Now why didn't it work? Because that person didn't give his time. And why didn't he give his time? Because he frankly didn't have that time. So these things are very important. Small things, but make a really big difference. Again, one more thing which is important is tech support and prioritizations. See, the tech team in any sector or in the BFSI sector, they're always busy. They'll always have some or the other thing with them. Now you need to go and sit with your tech team and you need to make them understand that, hey, you're doing these 10 things. This thing which is the first thing which you have put, for example, if there's a tech integration in our case, we exactly know that bringing one insurer on our website, how much difference will it have on my overall business versus doing some kind of a tech implementation, for example, a measurement protocol. If I'm doing a measurement protocol, I know exactly what difference it's going to make for that entire thing. Versus if he is bringing some new insurer, how much policies I'm going to get or how much business I'm going to get. Now that guy will not know. He will just say, sir, मेरे पास 4 काम आए हैं, मेरे को ये खत्म करने हैं, उसके बाद आपका 5वां नंबर है. But what about that 5th? Is that 5th worth something more than what these 4 are going to deliver together? If you are able to convince that particular person, then you are through. Also, one more thing which happens is, this is across all organizations. The tech team works in silo, the marketing team works in silo. Nobody knows what is happening. I would suggest at least once a month you should plan some kind of a dinner or a small catch up with your tech team, where they get to understand what the marketing team is doing and the marketing team understands what are the limitations the tech team has. If these small things can be taken care of, I think it's not that difficult. Everything can be achieved. We're just saying that we're trying to build a Martech strategy for our company, but the marketing team and the tech team doesn't speak to each other. How can we say that we want to build something for our future? So these small things, if we are taken care of, there is this huge difference which makes. Also from a design standpoint, there are lots of cases where we always hear this thing from our product teams that, hey, I want to give a very good user experience to the user. But user experience is one thing, normal business is one thing. At CoverFox, it's like a banya. How much are you putting as an input and how much are you getting as an output? If you are able to convince the other teams that the output which they are looking at is far, far, far better than the user experience, they will do the job for you. But you need to tell them this. Apart from this, one thing which is very important is the data which flows in the system. If you are able to give right data to the system, they will deliver for you. We have experienced this in the past that everything was going good. The data which was coming from the system was looking good. It was flowing into the system was optimizing on it, and suddenly we came on a stage where we came to know that the data is not correct. Now if that is the case, then things are not going to work for you. So I think these are small things we should take. I think Kaushal.
Thanks, Suresh, for sharing that. I think one of the points that you make is very interesting in terms of the connectedness of the data, right? Of being able to stitch together multiple data that exists in different parts of the silos, for instance, and how that all adds up for marketing automation. Any other sort of challenges that you see in terms of when people are thinking about future Martech strategy implementations that they should think of when picking a tool or anything?
One big problem is we always look at data which is available in our own ecosystem.
Right.
When we look at data, we say, hey, we got this much amount of leads, we got this much amount of sales, or we got this much amount of clicks, and we got this much amount of sales,
right,
in an e-commerce industry or
right,
insurance industry. But there are lots of things apart from this. There is a third party which might give you a data which will be totally which you might not get on your internal data. If you are able to link those things,
right,
as I spoke in the beginning, that user cookie is very important for you. Because if tomorrow I have to say that a particular user who came on my website, who converted, what is his user behavior of my website?
Yeah.
So tomorrow, if somebody tells me that, hey, somebody who came to your website and who converted really good for you was a person who was buying grocery,
right,
for his house.
Yeah.
Now, that might be a case that somebody who was shopping for grocery has a family,
right,
and hence he was converting good for me. Or somebody who had kids is converting good for me on my insurance kind of or my term insurance kind of a category.
right.
Versus tomorrow, if I have to do a campaign wherein somebody tells me somebody who uses a lot of net banking to do his transaction might have a lot of cash in his bank,
right,
and hence can be a good customer for you to pitch you. Now these data, if they can flow into the system and can tell me that your user is actually this when he's offline,
yeah,
or online.
Right.
Because online I know, offline lots of cases is when he's swiping his card, when he's filling fuel for his car.
Right.
Those small things, if they can come into the system, that will help me a lot.
Absolutely. And I think there are tools that I'll talk about. And thank you for those insights. And maybe if you could switch to the Oracle content, then we could share some of the thoughts here. One of the, and what you said exactly is one of the key points that we make when we talk about sort of our capabilities and solutions, right? It's not just a one-point solution that you need to consider when you're buying a particular sort of tool. It also depends on how it integrates with other data and how it all brings it together, right? So that's one of the key points. If I can have the clicker, thanks. So when we look at, we started looking at sort of this from a three perspectives, right? One is the connectedness of the data and the importance of sort of customer experience. modern marketers, I mean, the reason some of these brands are up there is they are paying a lot of attention fundamentally to what their consumers are doing, right? And they have gotten ahead in the game primarily because of doing that. There's a reason that they are market leaders in their respective categories. So they exactly know what consumer behavior that they're monitoring and what is important for them and how they're optimizing the experience for those consumers day in and day out, right? And I come from a B2C kind of a consumer internet background where I used to work on Yahoo Search, where we used to have 300 million users on a daily basis coming to our sites, and it's part of that optimization. So we used to run hundreds and hundreds of experiments, pretty much, over the entire traffic, and analyze it and produce and refine that experience over and over again. So I think that's fundamental to what, how you should treat sort of your marketing sort of journey, and I think that's what we are building tools towards to help our customers. We made this point in the morning a little bit as well. CMOs increasingly, and we have spoken to some today too, and they're all interested now in having revenue goals. They are interested also in not just sort of point solutions, but again, how can the overall sort of the stack deliver the right experience for me? We had once one of a speaker from Atlassian, which is a company that makes a lot of software tools like Jira and so on. And he came and he spoke to us as a leadership group in the marketing cloud business at Oracle. And he said he deals with personally about 40 or so tools in his, he runs marketing for them, right? So he deals with like 40 tools. He doesn't want to deal with 40 tools. He doesn't have the time to deal with 40 tools, right? But yet his team is bringing him yet another tool which says, hey, I want to do send time optimization for email. And 41st tool he doesn't want to incorporate into it. And that's primarily kind of the reason where we are trying to build up solutions which would encompass a lot of these capabilities into our tools. And we're not saying that we'll be the only ones in the game there, definitely not. But what ends up happening is we're looking at our customers and saying they don't want to use like too many tools out there. How can we help their journey in consolidating and being good integration partners for them to help on their marketing journey? Our approach definitely starts with data. We have data in our background, in our DNA, for sure, and understanding behavior across all these things. I think you also mentioned this just now, as what is happening not just on so behavioral starts with sort of click behavior, what's happening on your website, what's happening on your mobile app, and so on, right? That's pretty easy to kind of to get at, and a lot of companies do it. We have solutions too through our Infinity offering. We can monitor across devices. What we're also doing though is we're trying to put all of these things together into one of the products that we recently announced called CX Unity at Oracle Open World in San Francisco about a month ago. Was what we're trying to do is bring transactional data, behavioral data, CRM data, customer service data, all of it into one view of customer, right? And then look ahead and say that, oh, this is where it might head. Like to the point you said, if I know in the past that this is not work, then tell you that, and that saves you a lot of trouble as well.
And in fact, the same thing with predictive analytics. If I'm somehow able to prioritize things to the user, that will save a lot of cost to me. As I was mentioning that 30-40% of my leads are in no conversation. And if I know a pattern of this particular kind of leads or those people coming to the system, I can, what purpose, give this data back to my CRM guys, and I can tell them, hey, this is the data you will get. On this data, can you run a predictive kind of a dialer, which will help me optimize my call center strength better?
Yeah.
I can't just go on increasing my call center numbers double my sales.
Sure.
At some point in time, I have to get that thing right. by increasing 20%, I should be able to get 50% of increment.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I think this is an area like, it's still, predictive journeys are quite exciting to kind of look at as well, because you can see how the tool is saying that, journey might happen, and then you can always look at real data and see, for data geeks anyway. I mean, I'm a data geek to start with, so I love that sort of stuff when customers can look at that kind of data and say, oh, this is what we predicted, but it's deviating from it, or it's going according to plan, or whatever the case may be. Right? So essentially what it adds up to is, for us, it's connecting all of this disparate data silos into one. That's kind of central part of our strategy. And based on top of that, then a lot of intelligence is possible, which will connect these disparate different data points, right? And it will deliver this experience for a customer, which they don't really need to kind of care about really stitching it together by themselves. I think that's really key. I mean, I'm speaking even today to many people where they were saying that, look, I'm using this particular tool for analytics from you. I'm also using your email orchestration tool, but are they really talking to each other, essentially, right? And how is that journey? It should be seamless as far as they're concerned. They're not software programmers. Let's say they want to define the business metrics from a marketer standpoint, and they want to get away outside of that and say, can your tool deliver against that business metrics and business goal objectives that you're setting up?
So I was just having a chat with one of my friends before coming for the presentation, and he's from an insurance company background. So he was like, we want to go at a stage where insurance which we sell to the user should not be basis a blanket for all the users. Like if a user is driving his car only 15 days a month versus somebody driving it for 30 days, should the insurance premium be same? I said it should not be, because he's driving the car only 15 days. So chances of him getting met with an accident are 50% lesser than somebody who is driving it 30 days.
Right.
So if these smart data points can come into the system, I think that will help us a lot to build a good product for the customer, and it's a good customer experience, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are seeing some innovation in those areas. I mean, there's a company in the US that does that, in fact. Actually these days they're providing a device that you can plug it into your car, which is generating data as you drive. So if it's assessing how you're driving in real time, and it will basically assess the risk of you getting into an accident in basically real time, and then adjust your insurance rates accordingly. So
the same thing. Even if the device is not there, nowadays we know that we have Olas and Ubers of the world. If somebody owns a car and is always taking an Uber to go for his meetings or his things, then but obviously that data can also flow into the system.
Sure.
Saying that this user is using Uber, is not using his own car. Let's charge him less.
That's right. That's a good point. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity like that where there are missed opportunities we all see in our daily lives also, right? You just have to wear that hat of a customer or a user in that case, and that becomes your use case to your first point, I think. Saying, how does, there is an opportunity here that is being missed. And I see that whenever I travel in airline cases as well, or in hotels. There's numerous examples we can all go into with respect to that. So this is sort of our essentially the connected sort of stack, right? I mean, it enables digital analytics, testing and optimization, a lot of things. We're talking about the capabilities here. At the center being a campaign orchestration of some sort, but we have tools for DMP that we talked about, of course, but also social listening and publishing, and allowing you to segment audiences as well. And so what we're trying to look at also is beyond marketing, essentially, in some cases, looking at what you do in a commerce setting or service or loyalty and so on, so that we want to tie together a lot of these things so that things can talk to each other. I'll share a few use cases. I think it becomes more obvious when instead of talking in the abstract when I mention certain use cases as we go into this. So this is sort of the pillars of our roadmap, or basically the way we look at things, right, to prioritize, for instance. Data is at the top, definitely. How do we integrate with various products internally as well, but also across partner ecosystems. Then what we call digital intelligence, it's really a catch-all for a lot of this intelligence I talked about on top of the data layer, and how it connects up different parts of the data silos and enables certain experiences that even kind of you talked about, right? And integration and extensions are really our third-party ecosystem enabling that. We know that customers have multiple solutions out there that they're using. It's not just us. So how do we make sure that it's easy for them to integrate into our own ecosystem, but also across our ecosystem, but also across other tools that are out there. And one of the last points I'll make here is on simplification. Right? I mean, enterprise products typically are not simple to use. I'll acknowledge that, right? And that's why a lot of us are coming from definitely a consumer internet world, where user experience and simplification of simplifying something is very important, because you shouldn't need to call support for just setting up something, right? You don't call it when you buy a smartphone today and you want to set yourself up, right? So it's the same kind of ethos we want to bring to enterprise products, and not that everything will be self-serve or as easy to do, but to the extent possible, we want to enable that kind of a thinking so that the product is easy to do on a daily basis and it doesn't get in the way of your job in getting insights out of it.
This point, which is integrations and extensions, that's a really good thing, because what happens is in marketing, we are using some kind of a tool, and now I want some additional capabilities from the tool. Might be the tool is not able to deliver those capabilities, but then if there is another tool which can be integrated with that particular tool, that will help me a lot, and that will make my life better, because I don't want to change the entire tool, but I just want one part of that particular other tool which can be integrated here, and the things can be done easily.
There's a couple of few use cases I'll sort of go through where things are tied together, right? Different capabilities are kind of come together. One such major scenario that we see is abandoning a cart in an e-commerce use case, for instance. So when someone has put something in a cart or is about to shop, and then they drop off in that funnel and they leave, right? They bounce off. And that happens in various scenarios, probably for insurance products as well. Someone comes in as a lead, they're checking out a few things, they go through half of the process, and then they just kind of, scoot away, right? You wonder what happened. So any number of things could have happened, of course. But one thing that you could do is we have capabilities like Infinity, where you can monitor every single interaction that's happening on a particular website. So how much did they scroll? How much part of the form did they fill out, or how much of the video they watched, and so on. And you can set up triggers which say, if certain event happens, I want to send maybe an email campaign, right? So with a solution like Responses again, so we are trying to connect up multiple solution capabilities that exist across our stack, for instance, to light up use cases like this. And previously, some of this was not possible, and this is now possible actually. This is live with customers as well. And we're seeing significant sort of improvements in re-engaging and targeting the users who abandoned this. In fact, last week was the Thanksgiving weekend in the US, so it was a big shopping, it kicks off the shopping season, of course, the holiday shopping season. So this was a really important initiative in the past few months to get it live, and many customers were really clamoring for it, saying, I need this absolutely before the holiday period starts, so that they can really re-engage their customers who are abandoning carts and drive that incremental revenue.
But this is what we initially, and the first thing which we did was this retargeting kind of a piece, because somebody who comes to buy insurance, now there are very few people who might like to buy insurance, but 99% cases people don't like to buy insurance.
Right.
And if tomorrow you have come to a stage where you have selected the product and everything and now you have just bounced off the website, again if I bring you back to point A and not that point from where you left, I think you're not going to convert.
Right.
You'll say, I'm not going to do this again. I will go and search for something else.
Yep.
So these things make a huge difference. And
Yep.
if all these things combined in a one tool,
That's right. And that's what we are trying to do, saying it should be seamless. You shouldn't care whether it is responses or Infinity or some other third thing. What we are trying to do is make it easy for you to kind of think of a use case and say, okay, this is what a capability I want, and you tell me which products that deliver that capability and how that flow happens. So today, we've made it sort of seamless across these two. Similarly, lead scoring. I was talking also in some individual conversations today. The same kind of a thing, right? Because we can monitor behavior on a particular site. What we can say is, hey, this person, supposedly a lead came into a site, and let's say they had to watch a video, right? And they are only looking at the 10% of the video and always bouncing off. And very few of them are really looking through the entire video. Then, a capability like Infinity can tell you that data, and you can optimize your site so that they, really watch the entire video. Or you can score the lead. Then you can say, well, people who watch only 10% of the video and bouncing off are really not high quality leads. They are probably not interested in it anyway because they skimmed off the surface. So you can use that data and really quantify and score that lead. And I'm sure this will be very useful kind of in an insurance kind of setting.
That's what I said. It's more from a call center optimization standpoint. If I have a person in my call center sitting and calling on those set of leads which I know are not going to convert,
right.
why should I choke his bandwidth?
Exactly. And this kind of a scoring would really help because you're informing based on the data, saying, oh, these are a series of things that happen, and that's why this lead is less valuable than some other lead,
yes,
and you'd rather spend time
on
that.
For me.
Yeah.
And I think it makes sense for anybody in the system.
Yeah, anybody, exactly.
If some leads are not converting.
Exactly.
Right now, I'm thinking from call center standpoint, but if I'm an e-commerce player, if a particular person coming from a particular source, I know that he's not going to convert.
Right.
Why should I spend money on him tomorrow as well?
That's right.
I can save on my cost there as well.
Sure.
But this data needs to be flowing in the system.
Yeah. This is an example of uncovering opportunities again. When you tag your site with, suppose, Infinity again, you can look at particular segments and saying, hey, there are sections of my site or my app which are underperforming, right? Somehow the bounce rates are high, the abandonment rate is high, whatever the case may be, or people are not spending enough time on it. How can I combine it and say, maybe I need to serve up a different experience there with our A/B testing tool Maximizer that's possible. And we stitch those two together and say, look, these are opportunities that are there on your site, and maybe you should look at these hotspots, so to speak, right? So it's helping you uncover and discover areas of behavior on your site that really weren't you were not looking at, for instance. And one other area that we see consistently that happens is, you've sent an email with a particular campaign to a customer or a potential customer and so on. When they click and land on a landing page, that experience is different a lot of times, or rather the two don't talk to each other, right? Because they were built by two different systems, honestly, right? It is kind of a very standard problem. So what we're trying to do is essentially combine when we are combining the data that's from an email orchestration system to onto a website essentially, and saying the website knows now that you particular user A has come from this particular campaign, and so you should be served this particular consistent page to be sure consistent with the email experience. And when you do that, the results are much better from a customer satisfaction perspective and also from a conversion perspective into the funnel.
So that is where omnichannel thing comes in.
That's right. It's basically an omnichannel. Exactly. And one of the interesting ones also is from a social and service cloud kind of a use case, where we want to be able to, people are engaging through social channel, obviously with a brand or a customer's page, and we want to be able to route messages or any complaints for that matter that might happen directly into your Service Cloud instance, in this case, the Oracle Service Cloud instance, so that you can file a ticket and take action on it and compile statistics on it. Because with the social cloud, what we can do is we can assign sentiment to it. So a rep can act on it, a representative can act on it immediately, saying, hey, look, these are messages that are coming in with negative sentiment, so you might better pay attention to this first. Then again, it's kind of a lead scoring in a different way, but it's scoring your customer interactions and saying you better pay attention to some of these first than something else. So to kind of summarize a little bit, there's this Infinity, which is one of our core capabilities, forms at the center of our digital behavioral sort of measuring the digital behavioral footprint of users. And it brings together, lights up a lot of the kind of use cases that we talked about. And there are many others that we've not even mentioned here, and many others that I probably even can't think of, and a customer can probably come to us and say, oh yes, with these two I can do this together. So we are providing the kind of the menu and trying to connect it up in ways that some we think the customers can do it probably in their own ways as well. And those will be interesting for us to sit and watch. I'll skip this one actually. And this, just lastly, we, from an Oracle Marketing Cloud perspective, we have about 3,000 customers globally, overall, across a lot of these email orchestration capabilities, Infinity, and our A/B testing maximizer product, and responses and Eloquent, and so on. And there are many high volume, high revenue customers that are on our platforms who trust us with what we do. In fact, one of the most significant stats was last week, again when the shopping season kicked off in the US, our responses platform was, I think, churning out more than 1 billion emails a day, basically sending through its platform, and highly targeted ones too. So it's one of the highest ones that we've had in year over year. So that is, it continues to grow for that matter on that, right? And even in an India context, there is significant top, public sector companies and tier 1 publishers and financial services giants who are part of our mix from a customer standpoint. So, and we have significant presence in the market here, and there's Oracle team here present today for folks who want to come and chat with us as well, of course, for anything of interest or questions that you might have. And we have obviously sales, product, engineering, design, all functions working together to deliver products in this market and also globally for the matter. So I'll stop there. I know there are about 7 minutes left, so we can maybe take any questions or any comments that there might be. I think there was a question.
Hi, my name is Murli. One of the key takeaways for me has been how CoverFox has addressed the problem of from the call center, calling the lead precisely when they are on, by figuring out, when the ad is served, when the retargeted ad is served, right? So my question is this capability existing only when the ad is being served on, say, display? Or is this awareness possible even when the retargeted ad is being served, social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram as well?
If you are able to integrate it with the system which you are using, it's not just about display. You can run it anywhere. For example, we are using a tool which is Lemnis. They also serve ads on social media as well as on the display platforms. So they know exactly when that impression has happened and what is the time when he has come online. So it's regardless of social media or display platform, you can run it across all the platforms. You just need to tell them that what exactly you want to know. If you want to know when he's online on a social platform or whether he's online reading a specific kind of article. It totally depends on
And it's luminous, right?
Luminous.
Any more questions?
Because you're an insurance client, I'm sure you'll be accumulating a lot of data over the years.
Yes.
So obviously, a lot of your database will have junk holes. Bounces will keep happening and it gets accumulated and it just sits on your database of the marketing tool. So does Oracle support you in terms of eliminating that? Is it automated or you do manually have to do data cleansing every?
So from a cookie standpoint, if you ask me, generally that cookie period.
Not the cookie, your contact database.
So that's what I'm saying. So that cookie data which is mapped to that contact, that particular data is only with you for like either 1 year or 2 years. That's how the cookie time is. And let's assume you are saying that the junk data which gets collected over years and years. Now you are going to do targeting to the user any which ways. If you have this phone number, you can do it on social media or anything. You can't just say that that data has become junk. Now the thing is, how can you use that data? Like somebody who bought car insurance from me 3 years back, why do I say that that data is junk for me? He has bought a car insurance. He is eligible to buy a term insurance or a ULIP. So data will never become junk for you. It's the only thing is you just need to find out what is that right messaging you need to target to him at that point in time.
Not just that, like say for example, they had hard bounces, right? Those emails are never accessed, or you keep sending emails to them, they never open emails. Like for the last 1 year, they never open any emails.
Yeah, those are, the email orchestration platforms look at those and optimize for that.
Right.
So there is inbuilt capabilities. There are very sophisticated engines in terms of making sure that the deliverability is there. So deliverability of emails, for instance, is a metric.
As rightly mentioned by him, orchestration will help you solve this problem, because as I was just telling him that I know exactly when the user is online. So when you are coming online, that is the right time for me to send the email. Might be you are sending the email when he's not online, and hence your mail is going down with other mails. So if these small things you are able to take care of, I think that junk data can also be converted into a good data.
Thanks.
Sure. And there's a question.
I have a couple of questions.
Yep.
One is, which exact tool out of Oracle helps you to that orchestration?
So
To finding out the exact user at the time, and so that you can call it. Which
So
exact
right now, though, we have just started using Oracle's tool, which is Bluekai. That tool is mostly for understanding his user behavior. At this point in time, we are using a tool, Lemnisk, which is able of understanding all these small things.
But Bluekai will tell you the user based on the email ID, phone number, or the cookie.
So they have the data. I think Kaushal, you can answer this question. What on basis of what?
Do you want to maybe talk about how you guys use it?
No. You're saying he wants to understand how Bluekai understands the user basis his email ID or phone number.
Right, it's multiple data sources. Right, it could be email handle sometimes, but it's a phone number. It depends on what is available, and there is usually a matching algorithm that kind of runs from that to a cookie if those are not associated already, for instance. And then once the strong association has been made, then that continues and it gets updated for, I think, the earlier question also later on. I don't know if that kind of answers.
So we are actually using Eloqua. So will we have to
Lemnisk.
So we'll have to go for that also, or Bluekai will be sufficient?
No, I think that the task in that is slightly different. So
You can do it with this as well. It's just that we have taken one part of this right at this point in time and integrating it with our tool. So you can't just change your tool overnight. So we are trying to take one pieces from Oracle, We are trying to fix it in our system, and then once we are confident enough, then we can go for the other features of Oracle, and then we can see if we can integrate everything together. So that's how we have started.
So my other question is about lead scoring. So based on intent data, can we rank also the contacts or leads?
Based on intent.
Yeah, intent, whether how much a particular user is or particular account is engaged with us. Can we rank them also that this is the most engaged one, this is second one, this is
Yes, if you have the right data kind of flowing in to that lead scoring engine. I guess when you talk about intent, so there has to be, so in the case that I showed, let's say you have a tag where the behavioral data is also flowing in, right? So let's say that's happening. Then based on that behavior, you have to define what a high intent behavior is versus a low intent behavior is. So once you kind of do that, and you can do that through Infinity, and there is a way to do it in Infinity, we call it Action Center, where you can define certain rules and say, if this behavior I see, if let's say take time spent on a page, suppose as an example, right? Let's say you can define and say, oh, if they've spent more than 5 minutes on a page and they were active, then they're strong intent. And less than 2 minutes is low intent or whatever it is, and between 2 and 5 is a maybe, right? So let's say you define 3 zones like that. Then that data can then flow into the lead scoring engine, and that should take over and sort it appropriately. So the answer is short is yes, but you have to do a little bit of sort of rules and setting and observing the behavior to figure out what the right kind of levels are and what will work for your use case.
So you mentioned one thing about the video also, whether somebody has viewed 10%
Right.
or 20%. So if a web page have videos enabled, embedded through YouTube, will it get the data from YouTube analytics also, or?
I don't know if YouTube analytics might give you that, perhaps, yes. At least our tag, if it's there on the page, it will help you spot how much of a video that they've watched. So, along with other metrics as well, of what else is going on the page. But YouTube analytics itself might give you that.
That is there, but
That is
in
there.
our platform, can we get that? Because I doubt that it will talk to the analytics, YouTube analytics. And
I see.
data out of it.
With Infinity, you can. That I'm sure.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Since we're out of time, is it fine that we probably close with the questions? We can take the questions offline.
Sure.
That'd be good? All right.
Thank you. Appreciate everyone is saying.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank
Kaushal.
you.
Thank you, Sudesh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time that you can also network with them. You can, in fact, interact.